everyone. How are you doing? Happy Monday, wherever you are listening from, watching from. I hope you guys are having a great day. Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. As you know, this is a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Big Boy Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Pula, Guy, the chickens, Mama Mia, the Invictus community, and all of us here at Sussex Squad. Welcome. As you know, we are biased and we are petty, extremely. But that's who we are. We're not planning to change that anytime soon. So, but anyways, again, I hope you guys have been having you had a great weekend. I hope you're having a great day. I guess, it'll be different, I guess, for everyone. There's been a lot going on. There's, obviously there's death and sadness and all of that stuff happening. So some people, I'm sure, are still going through that. Some people are still mourning. Some people are going through sadness for, obviously we know what's going on in the UK and some things, personal stuff as well. So, definitely have to acknowledge that. And so wherever you are and whatever you're feeling, welcome. I'm glad that, you're taking this moment to spend this time with us or with me at least, and, or maybe just together. And so I am happy you guys are here. I haven't been on here for the last couple of days. So I'm really happy to reconnect and, haven't had a chance to listen to my other faves podcast, Baron and the Duchess of Success, in the last couple of days either. So I've been kind of a little bit disconnected from YouTube, mostly. If I'm connecting outside of here, it's usually via Twitter. So I've been keeping up there, but I am glad to reconnect here. So I am happy you guys are here. Again, we're all in different places with all that has been going on, and I'm sure a lot of you know all the stuff that's been going on. So I just haven't had a chance to talk about it, so I'm sure I'll be repeating some stuff that you've already like, okay, Pedal, I know this, but I understand. I just haven't had a chance to do it. So and maybe some of us among us may have not heard it either, so just bear with us, but I see some of my friends are in the chat. I know said hello to Fancy and Dory earlier, and Jessica. I see Maggie Margaret is here, and Kenitha and Karen Emma, awesome moderator, is here, and Veronica and Hazel and Thierry, Wendy. Welcome, and all our other friends who are not in the chat but are listening. So yeah, I am. Aww. Oh, thank you, Hazel. Well, I miss you all too. That's just so sweet. Thank you so much. Like, I miss you. I will listen to the rest of Baron later. Oh, I'm just happy you're here. Thank you. I see Dolores and Matilda here. Hello, guys. Welcome. Oh, I'm sorry. Matilda's wondering why I was silent. There are a lot of reasons why I've been silent. I think one of the things I've realized about myself, and I don't know if anybody goes through this, I realize there are times when I have a tendency sometimes to take in too much information. And I realize when I take in too much information, I get so overwhelmed. I like my brain stops. And I just can't. And I'm a person like I have to take it a little bit and then do something with that thing. And then I could move on and I can learn and grow while I'm doing. And what has happened, and I didn't realize how much things affected me in that way until recently, the last few weeks. I realized like I got so overwhelmed with, and that is the thing is, if anybody goes through this, where it's just you go on information overload. And the last couple of weeks I've experienced this has been a very strange sensation, a very strange thing that has happened to me. I mean, I've always been a person that learn and do, whatever information I get a little bit and then I go with it. I never really got as much information overload as I've had in the last few weeks. And for some reason, like I literally I literally could not function. Like my brain stopped. And it's so wild. Like for a couple of times, the last couple of episodes, and just sharing where I've been, I had it prepared, and my brain just would not function to be able to just say what I need to say and be able to put it's been the strangest thing. So I've had to watch myself to shut off things and take in a little bit, shut it off, be able to process it, and be able to do something with it. I don't know if anybody has ever gone in our community here have gone through that, but I've just literally gone through the last couple of weeks, especially of information overload. And it's just like, oh my goodness. So now I've learned. And so now I could again, learn to just shut off everything and then just, be able to process things. So anyway, it just, I mean, again, maybe I'm the only one, but one of the reasons I've been silent is because of this, is because I've had too many things in my brain and too many things going. I mean, apart from what's going on in the royal world, but I have my own stuff going on in the other stuff happening in my life and other things, projects I'm working on. So it was just too many things. I got incredibly overwhelmed. And so my brain just was like, no, I can't. And so that is one of the reasons. That's the long version of, what I've been going through. Again, I don't know if any of you have gone through it, but it's a really weird thing to go through. And so I'm trying to work on that and for that not happen again. So, Catherine says, hi, Pedal the Squad. Yes, everyone needs time out. Yeah, that's what I literally felt. My brain was like, no, you need to take a break. You need to just stop. And so, yes. Jessica says, exactly, Pedal. Same here. I have unsubscribed to every Sussex podcast with the exception of yours. Oh, wow. Thank you. I'm glad you didn't unsubscribe. I love having you here, Jessica. Sometimes it's just too much, and you have to give your brain a rest. And so I've been learning that lesson the last few weeks. Definitely the last couple of weeks. Jen says, you've been working so hard on all your different projects. It's okay that you take a break and take care of yourself. And that's one of the big things I'm learning as well, because I've never been a person to just like slow down and do one thing. And I think, I guess it's also too, the older you get, it's like your body literally is like, no, I will not go anymore. And it's just like, you either stop or you hurt yourself in some way. And I didn't have a choice. I literally had to stop. My brain literally stopped working. So I literally did not have a choice. So yeah, so it's a wild thing, but you learn as you grow. And so I think this is a good thing. But I'm glad I'm here. Enough about that. I am glad I am back. And as we all know, what's stuff that's going on, archetypes are, and okay, I gotta confess, I was really, really selfish with this. And I know, what's going on. And I know Meghan is mourning. They're in mourning, whatever. And we're in different places. I mean, I'm not, again, while I understand, and while I appreciate, a lot of people are mourning and they're going through a lot of sadness and all of those things. And for me, you never want, it's like death it's a sad thing, even if I'm not mourning, there is a sadness that comes with it because it's death. You don't want that anybody to die. At least I never feel that way, that I want someone to die. And so, but I'm not grieving. So I'm not in that place of grieving. And so part of me, someone mentioned on Twitter the other day, like, they hope Meghan would pause archetypes for the grieving period and, come back after. And I literally responded like, I'm not grieving. Why should she pause it? Like, why should we have to, not get our archetypes just because other people are, and it was, in looking back, I'm like, okay, maybe that was a little cold, but that's how I was feeling. I was just feeling like, no, I want my archetypes. I don't want to pause it. I'm not grieving, and so, but looking back, it's like, okay, this is her heart and this is her passion and this is her baby. And so we learned today that, it's going to be paused for the official mourning period for the Queen. And so I hadn't looked at it in terms of Meghan is grieving. Meghan, even though I'm not, she is, and her husband is. And so she is there and supporting him and want to be there for him. And maybe the family, I don't, again, who knows what the inside of their relationships are. We know what we see on the outside. And so she wants to be there for them. And so they gave the podcast a pause for the grieving period, which I think ends on the 19th, if I'm not sure, if I'm, so maybe it comes back after that, the following week after that. And part of me is this fear was like, no, but the momentum of Archetypes is number one and all of those things. And I was just thinking in terms of that. And plus, selfishly, I just want to know, I just want to hear the next episode. And so it's just, that's where I've been. And some people could be like, well, that's a little selfish because that's what you want. But that's what I wanted. But it doesn't matter what I want. The fact is, Archetypes is, it's on pause until after the official mourning period is over. And so for Meghan and Harry, I was like, okay, she wants to be there for her husband and his family. Whether his family deserve it or not is another issue, but that's where she is, and I have to honor that and respect that. And so, and again, no matter what her decisions are when it comes to that family, no matter what I feel about them, I will respect her decisions. I respect his decision. Again, I'm on the outside. I'm a stranger. I don't know what's going on the inside of their relationships. So yeah, so we have probably a couple of weeks before we get the next episode of Archetypes. So I'm just going to be, I think I'm just going to be listening to it on repeat until for the next 2 weeks. So yeah. And I'm assuming you guys probably had a chance to, take a look at Harry's statement for, about the Queen, about his grandma. And, it's so funny how Harry's always managed, and you hear this a lot, like how he managed to humanize her and just in a simple way, just, honor her and the statement be about her, and so if you hadn't heard it or seen it, or so I'm just going to read it quickly. So for those of you who haven't, it says, in celebrating the life of my grandmother, Her Majesty the Queen, and in mourning her loss, we are all reminded of the guiding compass she was to so many in her commitment to service and duty. She was globally admired and respected. Her unwavering grace and dignity remained true throughout her life and now her everlasting legacy. Let us echo the words she spoke after the passing of her husband, Prince Philip, words which can bring comfort to us now. Life, of course, consists of final partings as well as first meetings. Granny, while this final parting brings us great sadness, I am forever grateful for all of our first meetings, from my earliest childhood memories with you to meeting you for the first time as my commander-in-chief, to the first moment you met my darling wife, and that's for me everything, the moment you met my darling wife and hugged your beloved great-grandchildren. I cherish these times shared with you and the many other special moments in between. You are already sorely missed, not just by us, but by the world over. And as it comes to first meetings, we now honor my father, who in his new role as King Charles III. Thank you for your commitment to service. Thank you for your sound advice. Thank you for your infectious smile. We too smile knowing that you and Grandpa are reunited now and both together in peace. So that is Prince Harry's statement to his grandma. And of course, for me, it's just, my darling wife. So it's like, oh. I love that. I love how he does things, which drives royalists and those who are dying for a divorce and dying for him to kick his American wife to the curb. You know that all of their knickers are in a twist and they're gnashing their teeth and throwing their pearls across the room somewhere. But I love it. I absolutely love I absolutely love that. So I just I love how he does that. It's so funny. I was thinking because I read the other brothers his statement. It was all about all the times he spent with her and all the times with his kids, and it was just so much of, and I don't know, maybe I literally just read into things, and probably I am read into things, but it was more of a look at what I did and you didn't. Look at what I had and you hadn't. And whether it was shading Harry or not, it had that element to it. And it was, a few weeks ago and a couple weeks ago. Oh, wait, it's about a couple weeks already. That Meghan did her speech at One Young World. And the big thing with the tabloids there were all the I, me's, and my's. They literally did articles where they claimed that it was all about her and all about her. And I realized, I was looking, I was like, should I be petty and then just do that for William's speech? Because all of his speech, a lot of it, the majority of it really was I, me, and my. And it was just like, there were no articles about that. Maybe I should be petty and I embrace my pettiness in that way. But I was just like, oh gosh, But again, coming back to Harry, I just I really just I love that, and love just his heart towards his grandmother, how simple it was. It wasn't really about him. It was just about his love for her and who she was. And so I just, Harry is just so much better to these people than they deserve. I don't know. I don't know if I could have done it. I don't know that I could have sat there and be that loving and be that. And maybe I need to work on my respect for people, and that's the thing. For me, that's always been a thing with me. People in leadership, and you just like, maybe you have to work on my respect for people who are supposedly in leadership, because like I don't know that I could have been this, I don't know, respectful to people like that who have gone out of their way to try to humiliate or try to belittle. And it would have taken so much of me to literally do that. I don't know that I could. And so I applaud him that he's a bigger person than I am, much bigger person than I am. And he is able to do this. And again, coupling the fact that he looks at her, yes, he sees her as this commanding officer when he was in the armed forces, but that is his grandmother. And we do have that deference for grandma, in a lot of ways. And I think that's part of it. The rest of them, I don't know that I could have even stayed there. I would have just been like, no, I'm coming back to the States. So I'll come back for the funeral. That's it. I could not. Yeah, every part of me would have wanted to run away from there. But I'm telling you, it goes to the strength of character that Harry and Meghan have, that they stay there and are still there. And, not only that, I mean, talk about, this came out this morning again, why I would have a difficult time dealing with the royal family or even respecting them. We have this nonsense. I mean, we had the same nonsense back when Prince Philip was, being buried, where, it was like, all the royals can wear their military uniforms except Harry and Andrew. And I'm thinking, and we saw how stupid that was, and then it all blew up, and then the Queen was like, oh, no, everybody wear their morning dress or morning outfit or whatever you call those things that they ended up wearing, like the black top and the gray pants or whatever they had on. And you would think they would have learned by then. You would think they would learn how stupid it is, this nonsense is. But as we've said so many times, the royal family, the royal household, they just don't learn. These people they don't have the common sense God gave a goat. My apologies to the goat, because I'm sure they're smart. These people just don't have it. No matter how much you want to ascribe whatever it is to them, they do not have the common sense of a goat. And it's just like, people be like, what? Why are you being angry at the goat? It's just the same stupid behavior over and over again. And you're like, Lord, these are people that's supposed to be head of state. Like, how could you be this stupid and do it again? Within a few months, again, Scobie announcing, and again, it's all over the British press because I guess the palace announced only members of the royal family will wear military uniform for ceremonial evening honors the Queen over the next week. Processions and the service in Edinburgh today, coffins, processions to Westminster Hall, and the vigil that follows, state funeral, final committal in Windsor, all of those things. As a non-working member of the royal family, Prince Andrew will not wear a uniform to the above events. However, as a special mark of respect, a royal source says he will be at the final vigil at Westminster Hall. The palace has yet to say whether this exception will also apply to Prince Harry. Confirmed! I understand that unlike Prince Andrew at the final vigil, Prince Harry will not be allowed to wear a uniform at any ceremonial event. No doubt a huge blow to the Duke of Sussex, who served for 10 years in this, and this morning spoke of the Queen as being his commander-in-chief. And you're thinking like, what is wrong with these? I don't, and that is the thing, when you have unelected officials, where people did not vote for these people, to put them in high places, it's kind of like, this is what you put in there. You have Prince Andrew not wearing, first of all, none of them other than Prince Harry should be in uniform. That is first and foremost. You know what I mean? None of them should be in that uniform. You could even say Prince Andrew deserved to be in, at least he served during the Falkland War. Okay? At least he did that. The rest of them, no. So literally the only two people who should be in uniform technically is Andrew and Harry. And so, but the idea of having the rest of them in uniform and then Prince Andrew being in uniform in that final Westminster Hall vigil thing, and yet none of Prince Harry is in in civilian clothes when he is the only one. I mean, this is what we have. And it's just like, oh my goodness, like, yeah, which war did Princess Anne and Prince Edward fighting again? Oh yeah, and which ones did Prince Charles and Prince William fighting again? And so what I mean, even their own reporters who, completely royalist reporters are calling out the nonsense of this. I mean, when you have your own people, your mouthpieces in your tabloid press, calling you out on the stupidity of this, it's stupid, because these royal reporters these people have zero, it's like clowns with press passes. And when clowns with press passes are telling you how stupid this is, you know how stupid it is. And so it's just unreal. It's just like, oh my goodness. I don't even, and again, it goes back to how with Harry, it's like, how he is able to stay there and be able to just rise above and be able to, look at these people with any kind of like, this is where I'm like, I will be packing I'm like, Meghan, we're out of here. We're going back to the US to be with our kids. I'll come back on the 19th when my grandma is being buried. I couldn't even. I just was like, this is where I'd be done. And, again, but again, on the other hand, you look at it, it's like Prince Harry, we know his service. Every single person who knows Prince Harry knows his service, and knows Prince Harry doesn't need to dress up in costumes and having chocolate medals for us to know his, what he did in the military, his work in the military, his service in the military. He actually served. This is who actually served me. Today, I literally wrote on Twitter, can somebody please tell me what the Queen, like, literally, I need a list of things that the Queen has actually done for the world. Like, what is this service that people are, every single thing, honor or whatever, whether world leaders or whatever, paying tribute to her, including even Prince Harry. talk about her service. I am yet to figure out, and people have yet to explain what that service is. Like, I don't even know. Like, please, I want to know because I can't find it. And nobody is going into details about what the queen actually did and what her quote unquote service really is. I'm like, what has been her service to women? Like, was she out there fighting for women's right to vote? Was she out there doing, I mean, what is her service to Black people? Was she there supporting Black Lives Matter? Was she out there really promoting, rights for marginalized communities? Like really, what did she do? What is the service? I mean, was she really out there for climate change and really championing climate change? I mean, this is a woman who literally, in the place she died in Balmoral, she has an exemption to not follow Scottish laws, environmental laws. She literally died with that exemption. She literally died with the exemption of not hiring Black, brown people, and you cannot sue her if you were sexually abused or whatever within her palace. You can't sue her. She literally died with those like, I want to know what the service is. And so I know what Harry is doing. I know what he's done. I know what his service is. Even if it's just his serving in the military for 10 years, I know what his service is. But I've yet to hear someone describe to me what the queen has done. Like, what has been her service to this world? I know she's been there 70 years and she's met how many US prime ministers and how many UK prime ministers, and she talks to people and she was gentle and smart. Like, I know all that stuff. I need to know what, as a head of state, she did. I literally want to know because no one has been able to explain that. And there's this pat statement of, I mean, at this point, it comes across as thoughts and prayers. People just say stuff because something bad has happened and you get the obligatory, oh, you're in our thoughts and prayers. We've all done that at some point. I'm not downing it. But I feel like the service and duty is like that. People feel obligated to say, her service and her duty without ever explaining what that is, what exactly she did. And nobody can say. Like, I need a list. And so, and again, I'm not going to sit here, be moaning this point and downing a dead person. But I come back to this. It's like, this is nonsense. And so I am like, I don't know how. I mean, it takes a really strong person to be able to be like, okay, I know they're being jerks. I know they're being evil. They're being mean-spirited. They're being petty. They're being wicked. But I'm simply going to block it out and focus on my grandmother and be here because I love her and honor her and respect her. It takes a big person. I couldn't be that person. I literally could not. I would pack my family. I would pack my wife and be like, or my husband or whomever, and be like, I'm like, deuces, we are out. I'll just come back for the service, And so, yeah, I'm telling you, the strength that the Lord has given Harry and Meghan, I think when you've gone through what they've gone through, you develop a kind of a strength and a kind of an inner, where that sort of thing, your worth, your self-worth, who you are, how you think of yourself is very much outside of the ridiculous class system in the UK, where it's about where you sit and where, your proximity to to the monarch or whatever, where sitting in a second row or third row is like, oh no, you're a reduced person. So I'm so happy that they have, and it seemed to be getting stronger and stronger, that they have developed this where they're able to be like, you know what, I'm just going to be here and I'm just going to do my thing, honor my grandmother, and then we leave, So it's but for me personally, I just can't get over just the nastiness and vindictiveness. And one of the things that you notice in the last couple of days, the narrative changing that's been happening in the royal family and the press. Ever since the walkabout, there's a marked difference in tone in the attacks of the tabloid press that I've been seeing, like royal underscore reporter. She archives all of those things, one, again, as I say all the time, so that way they, when they go back and change things, which they're doing, we will have the original. So she has been posting their things, and there's a marked change in tone in the attacks on Meghan and Harry from the chief ones, like the Daily Mail. And now they're trying to change. I think they're realizing, especially if you guys remember the nastiness of Rebecca English talking about how they basically William, Andrew, Edward, and Sophie, who flew together to Balmoral when the Queen, and it came down that she was really deteriorating badly. They flew out there, that they pretty much dissed Harry and Meghan and basically said they don't want her. And I think that has now gone around the world, and they're realizing how bad they look. So now the spin is on, where they're now like, oh, no, we just didn't know she was going to be that bad. We didn't realize Harry, though they only went because, at least William, because he's a council of state. I'm like, so is Harry's also a council of state. So why are the other council of states there and Harry not on that flight? You're coming from Windsor. Edward is in Windsor. At least he lives close there. Prince Andrew lives in Windsor. Now Prince William supposedly lives in Windsor, and Harry lives in Windsor. So how did all of the three of them end up on a plane together, and then Harry didn't end up on a plane on that same plane? Why did Harry have to get his own flight and to go there separate? And then now it's coming out. They're saying like, oh, when Harry got there, he was alone. That William and Charles had their own thing, and then the rest had. I mean, it's just the nonsense is this family, but it's just this. I think they're realizing now how bad it looks, and now they're changing the narrative to try to not make it seem like they're so evil and wicked. And it's it's unreal. And then, it's like this thing where, oh, William is so upset, he is afraid to be around Harry because he doesn't trust that Harry wouldn't leak stuff. Yet what we're hearing in the same press is William's people leaking about a text message he supposedly sent Harry, and so that they can do the walkabout. I'm like, you are leaking information to the press, and then you are telling the same press that you are afraid that Harry would leak information in his book, and this is the same nonsense that is. And again, the strength of Harry and Meghan to put up with this nonsense for the sake of his grandmother. I don't know how he's doing it. I don't know how he does it, but kudos to them, because I couldn't do it. I seriously could not do this. And so, but we'll see in the next week or so what's happening and what will come up. But I was like, can we just get to the end where our faves are out of that island, and hopefully, whether he goes whenever that coronation thing is supposed to happen, whether Harry goes or not, he did say in his statement, that he honors his father. And I don't know, I didn't read all of William's stuff other than his statement about the Queen, but did William ever say he honored his father? I have no idea. But maybe he did, and I just, again, I didn't read all the stuff about William, just that statement about the Queen. And so I don't know. But, Harry did say that, he, I don't even know how I don't know if I could form my fingers to hold a pen or form my fingers to type those words after what has been happening. I don't know I could do it. So again, kudos to him for being a better person than I am. So, because I couldn't. I'm not there. I wouldn't be there. So, just a little bit of a twist. This I saw this thing. Gayle King this morning. Apparently, she was at one of the film festivals. I'm not sure if it's Sundance, not Sundance. It wouldn't be Sundance, but one of the film festivals that Oprah is produced a new documentary. I think it's about Sidney Poitier or someone else. I don't remember. I should have remembered, but I should have focused more on what that is. I just clued into the Harry and Meghan part. But as she was interviewing Oprah about the documentary, Oprah, I think, is probably a producer or one on that documentary. But part of their conversation came to Oprah and obviously the interview with Harry and Meghan. And so Gayle was asking, did she, because everybody, the point is, everyone who talks about that interview talks about it as a bombshell interview. And so Gayle was asking Oprah about it. And so Oprah was explaining, like, she didn't set out to do a bombshell interview. She just basically wanted to give them a platform so they can clarify for people what, they can clarify for people why they left. And so she, she's also said, and she said it before, like, she didn't expect some of the things that they said. And so, people look at it as a bombshell, but at the time, she was just giving them a platform, and they said what they said. And thank you. Thierry said, yes, the film was about Sidney Poitier. So yes, that's a documentary that Oprah is, I guess she's a producer on. And again, I didn't pay attention as I should have, but I didn't pay attention to that part of it. I heard about the Harry Meghan part of it, so that was more what I was paying attention to. So thank you, Thierry. Sorry. Hi, C-Mac. Saying hi all. And then so again, but again, Oprah had mentioned that before when the interview first came out, that she just literally wanted to give them a platform to talk. And a little tidbit in there that I found really funny. I think she had asked Oprah if she had never met the Queen, and Oprah was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot." Oprah literally met the Queen and forgot about it. She's like, "Yeah, at the wedding, she met her briefly at the wedding," and it was just funny to me. Like, that is our Queen Oprah, right? She met the Queen and completely. If she hadn't told Gayle, Oprah and Gayle are like, a ring and a finger, you see them together, talk about, salt and pepper. They literally go together. And Gayle didn't even realize Oprah met her, because why? Oprah forgot. And I'm like, that is just so Queen, right? That is, you are a Queen. You are just so above that nonsense. That is like, Oprah is like completely forgot she had met the Queen before. And everyone else who's met her, like, oh my gosh, I met the Queen. And I'm like, this is pure Queen Oprah. She's like, yeah. She's like, she had forgotten about it. And it's just like, I love it. I absolutely, absolutely love it. So let's see what else she had said. She said something else and I forgot what else she had said about this interview. And again, as this is saying, like, yeah, she did not set out to do. They had asked her about, what she thought about William and Harry, their relationship. If, obviously they were referencing them out being, they were out on Saturday. They did the walkabout thing. And so Oprah was like, you know what? I don't get into people's business. I don't, she obviously wishes them well, but she is not interested, or she's not going to get into Harry and Meghan and William and Kate and their stuff. So I'm just glad that Oprah is just living her best life. She is just not into any of that stuff. She minds her business. She does her Oprah's daily thing that I joined, and she is just doing her stuff. She is just not into people's dramas. And no matter what people say about her, not say about her, she really just is not into it. So it just I absolutely love it. I love it. But I can't get over Oprah's like completely forgot she met the Queen. I was like, yep, Oprah is a queen. So, Queen is just a queen. She's just whatever. I love it. I absolutely love it. Queen Oprah. And of course, we've seen the pictures. We've seen it for the last 3 days, and I had just not gotten a chance to, I mean, I don't know. What did were you guys expecting this at all? You know, my mom called me a couple of days ago. Oh no, it was yesterday. And she's like, were you shocked? You know? And I was like, and I think, you know, for me, I wasn't like the fact that they are together doing a you know, walkabout thing, that part didn't shock me. I just didn't know that they were doing something at Windsor. Like I wasn't paying attention. You know, I knew I heard and saw pictures and video of people like be over at Buckingham Palace. And so that's why I thought everything was happening. It just never occurred to me that people would be at doing the same thing at Windsor. So that was the part that surprised me. I was like, oh, you know, I think I clicked I think it was some for Scobie or one of them. And it was just like, oh, well, this is surprising, you know. And it didn't cross my mind that they would do it there at Windsor and come out there at Windsor. But I think one of the things that, you know, the whole overriding of this whole walkabout and all of that stuff is for me, and again, I could be totally reading into all of this, is just I could literally, you know, and from watching Meghan for all the, you know, how effortless she does things and how, you know, she always seems so at peace with everything. And one of the things that stood out for me is looking at her, I could see the strain. I could see the strain on her face. I could see this wasn't easy. I mean, she could have just said no. She could have, you know, one of our squaddies did a Twitter post that has gotten like hundreds of thousands of likes now. And with the same, she said the same. She's like, you know, Meghan didn't have to do this. You know, it takes like a really strong person to be able to do what she did. She could have said no. She didn't have to go out there and put herself there in spite of all the hate and that people have been doing. And so she didn't have to do any of those things. And so you know, looking again, the strength of these two is amazing to me. One, to have to, you know, to even agree to do that with these two on the left, you know, as many of you may have seen the CNN reporter, and which British people are now up in arms, like, who is that not Republican, who is that American to call our royals, our Prince and Princess of Wales, the other royals? Apparently he referred to them as the other royals. And so for them to even agree to do that with two people that, you know, are very much the reason why they left, it took a lot of strength and a lot of deciding to, okay, I'm going to put my grandmother first. I'm going to put her, you know, honor her in this way. And then I'm going to focus on the people. A lot of them in that crowd, I know, have been part of the people that have been abusing me and my wife. And of course, I'm sure we've seen the video, especially of that nasty lady who refused to shake Meghan's hand. And you can see, I mean, so many people have zeroed in on her. Hopefully she sees that she is, you know, what is going on in social media, that she's very famous now on social media for her nastiness, you know. And it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there, because, you know, especially the media has been like all about, oh, they're being booed and all of those things. It takes a lot for you to want to put yourself there, because a lot of people, it's honestly, I'm just be honest, a lot of that is just not worth it. It is just not worth it. And, you know, and so I am very much, again, the strength of character of Meghan and Harry is just amazing to me. Absolutely amazing. And I applaud them. And I'm like, you know, I'm older than them, but I'm like, I'm looking up to them in terms of that, because I couldn't do it. I wouldn't want to. I literally wouldn't want to do that. And I could see, you know, and again, maybe I'm just reading into photos and maybe I'm just reading into video, but you can see her eyes, you can see her strength, you can see the strain, you know. And when that little girl that, you know, I think I have even before we get to that, I mean, this picture is just so amazing. We'll get to the little girl that she hugged in a second, but I mean, dogs are so I'm sure I can only imagine Harry in this moment thinking, oh, thank God you're here, because it's such peace. And you could see the attention that he's placing on this dog. I mean, you could see it's almost like, you know, thank God, someone who loves unconditionally. And you know that are dogs and how much they both love dogs. And, and it's so wonderful that they both were able, this dog was able to be there to, just be, I'm telling you, dogs are amazing. And I'm not even a dog person. But it's amazing. And I just love the fact that they were able to bond with this dog. But yeah, when I was talking about this young girl who's 14 years old, and I'm sure you've seen her in all the she did interview, I think, with CNN, and so it's been all over social media and stuff. It just her love and just wanting to hug Meghan and to let her know that she is welcomed. And there was a part of a video where someone zoomed in on Meghan's hands and how much Meghan was clutching her, and it's kind of like the girl needed a hug, but Meghan looked like she needed that hug too, and it's just, for me, is the younger generation that's going to, and I'm so glad that the younger generation, whatever you think of them, they're really clued in, and they have an acceptance level that the older generations, they just lack. There is a nastiness that that older generation have that is so insidious, that is so despicable, that it just literally, that one lady, all you have to do is look at it and see what she does, and she embodies exactly the nastiness that's been coming out of the UK. And so this girl, this 14-year-old girl, restored my faith in people in the UK, because her generosity of, she doesn't know Meghan doesn't know her, but she just wanted, to share, and not just her, but all the other young people, which is mostly the people that Meghan really connected with, the young generation. And thank God that's what her focus has been, and Harry's focus has been, And so it is just, for me, I really appreciate the younger generation coming up, just their inclusiveness, their love. They're a mess in a lot of ways. I'm not saying they're not, but there is a level of intelligence and emotional intelligence that they have that I just love. And I think we are in safe hands with these youngsters. Yes, they need guidance, and yes, whatever. But it is just, thank you, Angela. Angela says, yes, a child should lead them. And this little girl, sorry, our card is saying hello. But this thing keeps jumping, so every time I try to click something, it jumps. So Angela is saying a little child shall lead them, and that's the truth. That's the truth. The younger generation, I mean, you saw it at the One Young World's summit, where there are these old women, that same age group as that woman, out there, saying all nasty things about Meghan, yet these young kids, these teenagers, were the ones going after her and telling her, it's like, that is not acceptable, So I appreciate this young generation coming up, that they are clued into what's happening and understand that that is not okay, and that's not the world that they want to live in. That's not the world that they want to, live in now, and that's not what they want to see in the future. And I mean, I just applaud these young people so much. And I was not always like this. I was never into teenagers, because I was like, ugh. But more and more and more, it's just seeing who they are and seeing how just clued in they are to things, and how they're not willing to accept racism. They're not willing to accept bigotry. They're not willing to accept all the things that the older generation are spewing in. They're sitting in their filth and spewing it out into the world. And I'm so happy to see the younger generation saying, no, that is not the world I want to live in. And they're showing and leading the way. So yes, a child definitely is leading. So kudos to our little girl. And as you can see in these pictures, this is a lot of what you saw throughout that walkabout, is Meghan connecting with the young. And these are the young ones that's going to rise up against the monarchy, because the older ones are the royalists. Those are the ones that are supporting the monarchy right now. But these are ones that are getting older, and the younger ones that Meghan is connecting with, Meghan and Harry. And this is the thing that the royal family has not gotten at all. They have just not gotten there. Everything they've been doing is catering to people, the older generation, without realizing the younger generation are not feeling you. They're not connecting with you. You know who they're connecting with? Harry and Meghan. That's who they're connecting with. And so it just, so when you slight Harry and Meghan, when you do stupid stuff like, allowing Prince Andrew, who just paid, how many millions, at least the press saying 12 million, to hush up a sexual, lawsuit against them. And then you're slighting Harry, who served in the military for 10 years. What do you think the younger generation is going to think? Because you're slighting them. What do you think they're going to think about that? So how do you expect that generation to support you? And that is the thing that, again, these people do not, there's no common sense no common sense reside in the royal family and the royal household at all. But anyways, again, SUSSEX 98 posted this on Twitter, and I was like, oh my gosh, this was so, and I'm like, I had to share this. This was, I just felt like this was just so powerful. At 12 years old, Harry, even though, his brother was there, Prince Charles was there, but there really was no outward expression of love. There was no outward expression, and how different it would have been for Harry growing up if there was someone there to hug him and to hold him and to hold his hand through this time. And the difference it is now when Meghan is there. All throughout that walk, it's like people keep, at least the derangers and you see people like, people, you scroll through Twitter and there's always why are they always holding hands? Why are they always, touching each other? And of course they're attacking Meghan for, always being, they're touching, they're holding hands, they're hugging, whatever it is they're doing. Royalists are, they are throwing their pearls because of it. And so, but it's just like, for me, the difference now for Harry, how comforting it must be for him to have someone there, to have someone there to be there for him and support him through this. And so again, that's probably, I'm assuming that's where he got his strength to just like, okay, we can do this together. And, of course, just them being together. And again, even though we've seen Meghan smile, we've seen that smile on her face, but especially the picture on the right for me is just, I could see the strain. That's not our carefree Meghan who is just like California chill with stuff. That is strength for me. And again, I may just be reading into it. It's a picture and it's just, little clips of a video, and I could definitely be reading into it, but I just felt the strain. I could definitely feel the strain. And again, Meghan didn't have to do it. Meghan could have been like, deuces, I am out. I do not have to deal with any of you at all. And she would have had every right to not deal with any of them. But she stayed. So, and again, that support for both of them. It's just like, people like, I've seen tweets where it's like, Meghan is always holding. Why is she always holding? And it's just like, dude, have you seen Harry? Have you seen Harry being the one just like, even, his that behind the back and whole thing that he does, his arms around her when they first came out of the car, just reassuring her. It's just, people are just, I don't know. Is it the thing where, our British squatties on here, y'all can tell me, is it just a British people so averse to, outward affection? Like, I don't understand. I've never in my life come across people so offended by two people, a husband and wife, holding hands or hugging or comforting each other, whatever outward way they do it. Like, is that just not a thing in the UK? It never occurred, or it's just that a thing is just, they just don't want Harry doing it with Meghan. That could be the thing as well, but it's just so many people seem to have this issue whenever they see this. And I'm like, did no husband, are there no husband in the UK that are like this to their wife or girlfriend or whomever? Are there no one like this? And so I am just like, I'm telling you, British people y'all are strange, I have to say. It's just a strange culture that I didn't know existed before, learning about Harry and Meghan. I just did not know it existed. And again, it just support, comfort, Harry comforting her, she comfort. It's just whatever their need are, they're that for each other. And I think from where I'm standing, it's just a lot of it is jealousy. They don't have that support, and then they're projecting their own, lack of love onto two people, and they're like, well, you can't have love. Misery has to love. Misery loves company. I want you to be as miserable as I am, So, but it's just, I am just happy. I'm happy for that little boy at 12 years old who did not have this kind of love and went through such a hard time that he now has. And that's why I think when that in his statement, when he says, my darling wife, that's why that jumped out at me. And that's, and then he talks about, of course, the grandchildren. But it's not like just his wife, it's his darling wife. And I love that. Unreal. And I think this is my favorite picture. I love this picture so much. It's just like, I'm like, does Meghan have a bad angle? Just talking photography sense here, being a photographer. I'm like, does this woman have a bad angle? There is not. I mean, look at this picture on the right. How beautiful that is, And all she's doing is looking up at Harry. And, and it's just, I'm like, oh. Forgetting about, the fact that they're, people are grieving and all that stuff and why the flowers are there. But, she's just, it's just stunning. And so kudos to Chris Jackson, who is the royal photographer. And I love Chris Jackson is such an awesome guy. He was just in Aspen with Harry for the Polo match. He does a lot of their photography and Invictus photography, and he also does photography for the Cambridges and the Queen. He's just very impartial with all of them. He has a great relationship with all of them, and so I love that. He's never been partial to anyone. He's just, I'm a photographer, that's all I do. And so I love his work is really excellent. And so kudos for him for capturing this. It's beautiful. And then I'm sure because Royal Sussex is here, and I would be like, Baron is like, get a pedal. It could be, hi, Baron. I just love you. I am sure, I didn't even get a chance to listen to Baron yet. Again, I've been on information overload for the weekend, so I have not listened to anything. And so when I didn't get to listen to it yet, Baron's podcast, so I'm going to listen to that later. But I will guarantee you 100%, Baron talked about this. I'm like, when I saw this picture, I'm like, yep, Baron is definitely going to talk about this. And it's just like, I tweeted about this yesterday. I was like, okay, when are the UK going to talk about the space between these two? And it's just like, that was the first thing that I saw when I saw the pictures of this, is the space, and how William is more edging towards Harry and Meghan, and Kate is space. And so when I think about Harry talking about his relationship with William is space, and I was like, well, I don't think William is giving you that space, but Kate certainly is giving William that space, and it's just very interesting, their dynamic. It's very, very interesting. Many people think that William don't even live at, he does not live in Windsor, and he lives at Kensington Palace. I don't know what their situation is, but I'd be shocked. No, I absolutely would not be shocked at all. Which brings to mind, William and Kate's decision apparently was to move to Adelaide Cottage to be near the Queen. And it's just like, I just feel like Queen Betty, they moved in, Queen Betty is in Balmoral, and she's like, deuces, I am out of here. She was just not having that. So now I'm thinking, well, they moved to Windsor to be near the Queen. The Queen is like, bye-bye, I'm not having that. So then do they now leave that, tiny little two home cottage that, they've been lying about that? So then do they now leave Adelaide Cottage and move into their sixth property, their fifth property? Yep. They're going to now move into their fifth property of Windsor Castle, because now that the Queen, bid farewell to that, are they going to be doing that? Like, what? So what's going to be the angle, since the Queen is no longer there? So they didn't now move for the Queen. So are they going to just now abandon, Adelaide Cottage and then go move to Windsor? It'll be interesting in the next few weeks to find out. Interesting. But, the one thing I love about our squatties, we are so helpful. We are helpful in those moments where we think the royals need some help. And I just love it. I love our helpfulness in this way. Because when there is a space, squatties feel like, we need to fill that space. We need to help out the Cambridges in this way. And in our own squatty ways, we have filled in those spaces. So rest assured, there is no longer a space between William and Kate. And in our own Sussex squad ways, yes, it's been filled. So there you go. I just love us. I'm telling you, you just can't beat the squad. You just, no matter. And that's one of the reasons why the British press hate us. Because they just can't win. They just can't win because they are sitting there trying to do all this body language thing on Harry and Meghan's body language. Meanwhile, there's a wide open space of Kate and William that they're dodging, and squatties just jump right in to help out. And that's all I'm going to say on that. But I just absolutely love it. And you see, I put the squatties who volunteer their editing and their, their editing service to help out the Cambridges to fill that space that is between them. So kudos to the squatties for your wonderful charitable work in helping out the Cambridges. So there. I just love it. I'm telling you. And I saw some of them. I'm like, yep, that is exactly why they hate the squad. Because you can't beat the squad. It's just like, who else would come up with stuff like this? You literally can't beat it. Oh, Handful, thank you so much for your donation. I really, really appreciate it. Handful says, I agree with you. The Queen went to Balmoral and waited for Harry to arrive. She sure did. I mean, she was like, She was like, there, she's like, no, we're not going to do that. I'm moving into Windsor to be near the Queen nonsense. She's like, I'm out. And at 96 years old, I mean, again, you think of all the things she has seen in her life, whatever. Again, I don't know, still don't know what her service is, but, I saw another donation. I think it was Lydia's, and I was about to click on it, and it's hidden somewhere. Lydia, I saw your donation. Thank you so much. Lydia is our awesome moderator and 2 Cents crew member, and she also still donates. You are amazing. Thank you so much, Lydia. And as soon as I find it, I will click on it. And I don't know where it is. Oh, dear. Okay, so Lydia, as soon as I find it, I will show it. But thank you so much for your donation. But yeah, squad. Yes, I love us. I absolutely love us. Some humor in all of this mess. I happened to run into this. One of the squatties posted that. Actually, I think it's a squatty. It's just me, Lee, I guess that's what she goes by. But Clive Irving, he wrote a book that came out earlier this year, called The Last Queen. So he's been doing a lot of the rounds on British television about the Queen and also American television. This was on MSNBC, and he was talking about really what's been going on, and he was talking a lot. You would think you talk to a British commentator and author, you would run into somebody like, say, Angela Levin and stuff with their nonsense and lying narrative. But I've been so grateful to Clive, and not grateful, but I should say grateful, but just happy to see that there is somebody on that island that will speak the truth. And he just really been going in and talking about, the royal family really need to face the facts and face what, their role in colonialism, face their role in the slave trade and deal with it. They cannot just run from this past. They cannot just whitewash, what the royal family have done and their involvement in this. And so he has been amazing in all the interviews that I've seen him. He's been one of the very few British commentators who have just been literally like, Lily 505 says, he's been spitting facts, and it's been really great. And he talked, so this particular one, he was talking about Meghan's experience in the royal family, and he's talking about, when Meghan was there, she's, as you'd see in the tweet here, it says admission that the anti-Meghan basically narrative was fueled by her American work ethics, and as well as misogyny and race in the royal family. And what he was talking about was when Meghan got there, her work ethics, those fake bullying charges, her work ethics was met with hostility in the royal family. They could not, they could not deal with the fact that she came there to work. He was talking about some of the workers at the royal family. They work from 9 to 12 and then they're deuces, they're gone. And she wanted to change things in the sense of developing or creating a culture of where you work, where you actually work and produce something. And they didn't like that. And so she ran up against that. And that was a lot of what the issues there that Meghan faced. And so, and on top of, the fact that she's a biracial woman. So, I mean, it was great. And then there's another interview, him talking about the fact that, again, what I was saying earlier, that, the royal family have got to face the facts. They've got to face and deal with their role and the fact that they are still benefiting from that. And he was talking about, a lot of the art at Buckingham Palace, a lot of the art comes from what they're stolen from the colonies. A lot of that is at Buckingham Palace today. Their art collection, their jewelry, and all of that stuff is what they're stolen. And so it's like he's got to have to deal with all of that. And so it, for me, is good to see a white British man, he's also an author, a white British commentator, get real with this and not whitewash and water down what is happening. So my thing is, I am hoping and praying more, especially, more and more Black Brits would be speaking out and just not be afraid to speak out in this way, and be like to hold Prince Charles's feet which is why what The Voice did was so reprehensible. These are people that have a platform that should be holding Prince Charles's feet to the fire. These are the people that should be asking questions, not letting him guest edit your paper. You should be asking him and asking him the tough questions and making sure he makes commitment to changes that you need, to apologize and to pay reparations, not letting him guest edit where he gets control of your narrative. You need to be control of your narrative and you need to hold his feet to the fire. So that's why it was so despicable what they did. And they blew an entire, I can't even go back into that. That's just, it just makes me just like, what's wrong with you people? So I was just happy to see this, and more people. And I saw, a couple of other interviews where people, and I'm so glad too, where apparently, and I don't watch television, so I haven't not seen it, thank God. But I heard that, I think they said it was NBC and ABC, which I'm not, I talk about this all the time, about NBC and ABC's really commitment to royalty. They are committed to selling that to American television. But apparently, I think for a whole day, I don't know if they're still doing it today, but they've been nonstop broadcasting the death of the Queen. And so, and one of the things that I get like clips and video clips from Twitter and stuff. But one of the things that I've seen is that more and more commentators are not allowing the narrative of, oh, this wonderful queen and her longevity and all her duty and service to just go unchallenged. And people are bringing up colonialism. They're bringing up the fact that, wait a minute, why are Americans, they're sitting here worshiping this queen? Hello. We kick these people to the curb. What are we doing? And one commentator was she pointed out the fact that a lot of Americans are really, and we've seen it in a lot of American haters of Meghan, a lot of them really embrace the Queen. Why? Because she is the ultimate symbol of white supremacy. People always, and we've done podcasts about this, that when I talk about her and Donald Trump, that is the reason why Donald Trump loves the Queen and embraces her. And he just can't, he's like basically worships the woman. And I talked about there is very little difference between Queen Elizabeth and Donald Trump. Donald Trump is just outwardly racist. Her is white supremacy packaged in this pretty white lady with white hair and sold to the world in this wonderful package that the world embraces and loves. That's all that is. There is literally no difference. I mean, that really came home to me when I saw her and Donald Trump together. I'm like, there is literally no difference there. Their whole thing is white supremacy. And that's why you see a lot of MAGA people, a lot of them hate Meghan, especially Meghan and Harry. They hate Meghan. A lot of those people, this is the connection. It's white supremacy. When I talked about Willie, it's what, especially when they were in the Caribbean and that shameless, charmless, offensive tour. That's what they were doing. A lot of it was leaning into white supremacy. And that's why and a lot of American, you see that with NBC and you see that with ABC, especially. You see it, they're all about the Queen and all about royalty. And it's that white supremacy that they're gravitating to, because that's what the royal family is about. And it's like, it's unreal. So my thing the last few days, at least some of the clips that I've seen come out of it, is more and more people are talking and they're bringing up, the Queen's role, especially in the royal family's role in colonialism, in the slave trade, about what, Twitter is awash with that. One of the things that happened recently, it was Carnegie Mellon's university, one of their professors, really, she went after Queen Elizabeth. Basically, she was celebrating that she died. She was like, may she, die, may she suffer while she died, or something like that, she wrote. Now, whether you agree with her, really saying that or not, her thing is, her family was, during, I think her family is from Nigeria. And so when the British were there, they killed a lot of her family. A lot of her ancestors were killed because of the British soldiers that were in Nigeria. And so her anger at it came from there. And so she basically was like, I will not mourn for this woman, because she was in power. She was ruling when they were, and her descendants were part of destroying my family. And so Carnegie Mellon, and again, she's a professor, and Carnegie Mellon, and if I thought about it, I would have brought the whole thing in, but Carnegie Mellon basically condemned what she said, and Twitter, took down the post where she said that she wanted the Queen to die in pain or something. So Twitter take it off. They didn't suspend her, but they took down that tweet, and Carnegie Mellon put out this thing condemning what she said. Why did they do that? Because Jeff Bezos from Amazon condemned her speech, and then Carnegie Mellon followed up, saying that, her opinion, they don't agree with her opinion and all of that stuff. They basically condemn what she said. And so we're like, excuse me, but you're a university where people, whether you agree with that or not, whether you agree with what she said or not, you're a university. Why are you putting out that statement when universities like that, you're supposed to, whether you like it or not, if one, she has the freedom to say it, and two, you're supposed to be a institute where you allow people to share and express whatever it is they're expressing, which a lot of times people express some stuff and some universities don't say anything. So why would you come after her? And again, not only the bad thing about that is there are so many other countries. For example, if you had gone to Scottish Twitter or Irish Twitter, the horrendous things they were saying about the Queen, nobody said a word to them. No one condemned anybody there. Even Indian Twitter, they were going, and nobody said a word to them. But this woman, this Black woman, Jeff Bezos, went by all of those Irish Twitter. He went by all of those Scottish Twitter. He went by all of India Twitter, all of it, and singled out one Black woman to attack and send his how many, I don't know, probably in the millions by now, followers to go after her. And then Carnegie Mellon jumps on it, only to find out that Jeff Bezos is funding Carnegie Mellon. And then, and he's, I think he had donated $2 million or something like that to Carnegie Mellon. So part of that, I think Carnegie Mellon is like, oh my gosh, Jeff Bezos says something about it. So I have to support, I have to say something because we may lose Jeff Bezos funding. And so I started tweeting about, not only that Jeff Bezos is funding Carnegie Mellon, Jeff Bezos speaking out, and in support of the Queen is also, Jeff Bezos is one of the founding funders of Prince William's Earthshot Prize. And so you have all of this stuff, and it was very interesting for me, to see like Jeff Bezos, out of all the people that were going after, and really they are not feeling the Queen and her death and all of that stuff, he picks out one Black woman to go after. And it's just, it was just very interesting. But again, more, that's a long-winded story. That's just something that I remembered. But more and more and more people are speaking out and not whitewashing this. Again, I wrote it on Twitter for anybody to tell me what service Queen Elizabeth has, what service she's been to the world. What has she done? Literally. I mean, give me a list of, 1, 2, 3 things that she has really done. And so I'm waiting. Anyways, Litlane, thank you so much for your super sticker. Oh, thank you. I appreciate this. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for supporting our channel. Thank you in so many different ways too. But so I'm glad to see reporters are not just laying down with this nonsense of, Queen Elizabeth, whatever. So yeah. And, this, I talked about this. I remember talking about this on the last podcast about Lily and Archie's, whether they're prince and princess. And apparently this is automatic, but yet this is yet to be updated. They updated on the website that, the new Prince of Wales and new Princess of Wales, they updated the new order of succession. But they haven't updated whether whether Lily and Archie are going to be, are they prince and princess? So will I be shocked if Prince Charles is still like, I don't know. Remember, people was claiming that Meghan was lying when she said that Charles and others, I'm assuming it was Charles, but at least the royal household were considering changing that law. The Georgia 6th Convention that says when Prince Charles, the monarch, when he gets into power, his grandchildren are automatically prince and princess. Are they still doing that? Is that why this hasn't changed? I know I saw a report where a reporter put that question to, I guess, somebody at the palace, and they still wouldn't commit. They wouldn't commit as to whether Archie and Lily are automatically prince and princess. So not that they need to be prince and princess. I mean, when you think of, you think in terms of popularity or whatever, whether, I don't think that would be something, if they never become prince and princess, that, you're not going to know who Archie and Lily is. No, you know what I mean? If they never get it, it's not going to, decrease who they are. But it's just very interesting because so many people was claiming that, Meghan didn't know the law. She's not the truth. She's not telling the truth. And more and more and more, why is this not updated? And I know, sometimes the royal family website, it takes a while for them to update stuff. But even reporters, their own reporters are questioning this. Why is this? Why is everything else updated and this not updated? If it's automatic that Archie and Lily are going to be prince and princess. So we will see in the coming days. We will see. I'm sure you guys have seen this one. 2 days in. You know those people who claim that Meghan is a bully? Yeah, 2 days in. This is your king. If you're British, if you're in the UK, this is your king. 2 days in. Gnashing and gnawing his teeth at one of his, servants or one of his, at least people, his staff, whatever, to just get, to get pens, I guess the pens that were on the table. With this man, you just became king. And right there in front of the world press, that he feels like so comfortable doing this in front of the world. Which is why I am not surprised that they needed Harry and Meghan to cover this, because all the, you know, that day, this is what was playing. This is what was the thing that everybody was sharing on social media. And then all of a sudden you saw, you know, Harry and Meghan and the other royals go out on that walking thing. But it's just like, wow, there was this video and there's this other video of him, you know, pointing out something and sort of like shushing them away. And it was just like, wow, to see this kind of thing, this man baring his teeth in front of the royal press. And if you, and for me, I'm thinking, wow, if you're so comfortable to do this in front of the world press, what do you like to work for, you know, what in private? And we've seen the videos. We've seen the videos of them talking about what it's like to work for Prince Charles. And he got so far as to choke one of his, one of his workers, one of his staff. He choked them. And I think it was Paul Burrell talking about, you know, Prince Charles one day called him from far away, wherever he was, you know, and basically Charles is sitting there, a wastebasket is there, and apparently a letter or some kind of paper fell off the table into the wastebasket. Charles calls him from far away where he is for him to come there, pick up the thing from the wastebasket and put it on his table. This is who Charles is. You know, there's videos of this man where they talk about, you know, him, they have to iron or press his underwear, press his lace. I mean, it is squeeze toothpaste on his toothbrush. I mean, it is unreal who this man is. And so it's just very interesting to me that the second day, this is King Charles presents himself. And then we saw again the evilness and vindictiveness of Charles with this whole Harry can't wear his military uniform. I mean, it will be very interesting to see what happens there. But again, our faves are not there. They're going to be in California. Thank the Lord. And again, you know, this is not the first time we've seen royals do that. You know, we saw that picture of Kate Middleton do that. Again, these people doing this in public. What are they like in private, you know? And just like her baring her teeth. William did the same thing, yelling at a photographer who was, you know, tailing him. Now, that one, you know, again, I've talked about that again. Can I kind of give him a little bit of a pass on that? Because I know what it's feels like for someone to stalk you. And so I kind of gave him a, but is that they do this in public and they do this on camera. And you're like, okay, must be really interesting being in private with you, you know, and we know of William's incandescent, the incandescent rage monster that he is. So yeah, it's just, I'm telling you, very interesting. Also, I don't know. I'm thinking like, okay, this is one of those stories you're like, this is like April Fools in September or something. Because I'm like, who would come up with this stupid stuff? And who would think that, you know, world leaders would go along with this kind of stupidity? But somehow, you know, this was a report that came out yesterday. Scoop! Foreign heads of state and their spouses heading to London for the state funeral for Queen Elizabeth II have been asked to arrive in the UK on commercial flights and banned from using helicopters to get around. Also, not only are they banned from using helicopters, all the world leaders would be parked in a bus. It would be bussed around in the UK. It was just like, okay, this has got to be like April Fools in September, because I'm like, what world leader would, can you imagine? Prince, you know, you're on a flight and knowing Joe Biden is coming in your flight, I will bail out of that flight so fast. I'm like, what person would go on a flight knowing the president is on the flight? I mean, talk about putting yourself as a target. That is the most ridiculous thing in the world. And then you put them in a bus to travel around. I mean, talk about, you know, terrorist target here. You know, what Secret Service would agree to something that stupid? And so when I saw this, I was like, this has got to be a joke. This has got to be somebody's April and September joke, because I that's like the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But not only is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, is why would King Charles be telling people that they have to come commercial flights when 3 days ago, you know, the royal family traveled from London to Scotland and back on private planes. Prince Charles, he was already in Scotland when the Queen died. He traveled from Balmoral to, he traveled from Dumfries House to Balmoral, apparently in a helicopter, and then took a private plane from Scotland back to London. And so it's just like, this was like 3 days ago. I mean, we know that him and William, as you can see on the right, they use helicopters like it's cars. That's how they travel most times in the UK. Charles, he is like private jets and helicopters. Very rarely do people travel by car. And so the notion that this man who's the most hypocritical person in the entire world when it comes to air travel, the idea that they will ask world leaders, heads of state, can you imagine Joe Biden going on, oh yeah, let me get Lufthansa. Oh, let me get I'm going to jump on, I don't know, Spirit Air to take me to, I don't know if Spirit Air go to London or not. I haven't paid attention. But can you imagine, like, Joe, it's like, oh, can you book me a Delta flight to go to London? And then we're going to get there and jump in a bus and travel to Westminster. I mean, that's like the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. So needless to say, I just think that is I'm like, that is like September, All Fools Day in September or something. Just like, that is just the stupidest thing in the world. So but somehow that came across as, on the feed as some big scoop. I was like, okay, this is stupid. And then I know I'm a little long-winded, but I'm trying to get through all of it, and then I'm going to get to the chat. I want to hear what you guys are going to say, but I want to get to the chat, but I want to get through all of this first. And then, Antigua Barbuda's Prime Minister says he will hold a public referendum within 3 years. And we remember him saying that when Edward and Sophie were visiting him in that, royal charmless offensive tour too, when they were in Antigua. And so it says the Prime Minister of Antigua Barbuda has said, following the Queen's death, that he will call a referendum on the country becoming a republic within 3 years. The Caribbean country is one of 14 nations to retain the British monarch as head of state, with the Prime Minister, Gaston Brown, signing a document confirming Charles' status as a new king. Minutes later, he said he will push for a republic referendum after indicating such a move earlier in the year during the visit by the Earl and Countess of Wessex. And we remember that embarrassing visit of Sophie and Edward and Gaston Brown, and I will forever I'm like, when I saw this, I was like, okay, whatever. I was just, that embarrassment that this man, I will never get over. If you all remember, this man, he had such an advantage going into this meeting with Edward and Sophie, had this incredible letter sent, for reparations and apology, and this man squashed any demonstration and then lay himself prostrate, kissing up to Edward and Sophie of all people, and expecting them to, I don't know, I guess he was expecting them to go there and champion his cause for reparation and apology. Lay prostrate, only for Edward to say, well, yeah, I wasn't even taking notes, and I'm really here to talk about that baton that's going around the Commonwealth, and I really want you guys to come to the Commonwealth Games. I would never forget that. I would never forget the faces of Gaston Brown, and that picture cut out the lady, I guess it was his assistant that was sitting next to him. I would never forget their faces. The shock, the humiliation, all of it was right there. Rightly so. Because of the nonsense of prostrating yourself before two idiots who have, I was trying to not say that word, so I apologize. But these two people who have never shown any kind of anything about anything. I mean, what does Edward do? I am still yet to figure out what Prince Edward does. But yeah, he completely threw away the advantage of it, and to fall prostrate in front of them, kissing up to the Queen, and how much he met the Queen and met Prince Philip and all of this nonsense. and then walked away with a slap in the face. And Edward's like, yeah, whatever you said, I didn't even write it down. It was not important to me because I'm really just here to talk about the baton that's going around the Caribbean for the Commonwealth Games. And so, so when I saw this, I was like, yeah, that day, that same day that this happened is the day you should have been like, okay, this year we're going to, we're going to hold a referendum. I don't know. Maybe it takes 3 years to do it, but this is the day this should have happened. This very day, so yeah, within 3 years, that gives him the wiggle room to, in 3 years, people may forget that he promised to do this, but whatever, hopefully for the people of Antigua and Barbuda, this happens, because that embarrassing experience, like I was sitting here secondhand embarrassed for everybody. So anyways, who knows? Maybe it will happen. The other thing is Jamaica, which is, oh gosh, some of these leaders, you want to shake them. Jamaica is now called, for what is it, a 9-day or 12-day mourning for the Queen. And I'm like, are you serious? I was just like, and I saw a video of I think it was a poet or something, wondering, like, why are we mourning for this person for 12 days? Like, maybe people, a Saturday or two, whatever. But to, call a national mourning period, it's like you're forcing people to mourn. I mean, like, what on earth is that? So, and then again, coming from where they were with the Shameless Offensive tour, it's like, and I'm telling you, that thing with Prime Minister Andrew Holness, he is still a member of the Queen. Well, now, I guess, I don't know if the Privy Council now turns over to be Charles's Privy Council. I don't know how that works. But upon her death, he was still a member of the Queen's Privy Council. So there's that. And so, but it's really weird that it's like why? I don't even understand. You basically forcing your people who have been screaming that the Queen has not done anything for them. Why are you calling a 12-day or 9 or 12-day mourning period? I don't even understand. So anyways, that's the deal with Jamaica. Maybe I can get Chef on here in the next day or two. Hopefully Chef has time to explain to me what is going on with that. So that will and explain to all of us and give us the mood as to, where Jamaica. And again, there are people in the Caribbean, my mom included, that's, they've gone through sadness because, as my mom says, we know she doesn't do anything, but we like her. And, there is that feeling, so who knows? Just quickly to this one. We all know this, the garbage twin, Dan Wooten. We remember this, Dan Wooten, when Harry and Meghan were, a couple of years, I think it was 2020. Yep, 2020, when they did the photo shoot at the Los Angeles cemetery, and because the Queen, apparently the Queen said no to laying a wreath at the cenotaph for Prince Harry, so they went and honored fallen soldiers at the cemetery. And so Dan Wooten was one of the garbage twins, including him and Piers Morgan, were leading the charge of harassing and attacking Harry and Meghan for doing that. And Dan Wooten was like, how lucky a photographer happened to be there to capture the deeply personal moment. I remember Dan Wooten also, when Meghan was in Uvalde, Texas, one of his tweets you can see at the bottom right, I find it unimaginable that Meghan Markle would travel the length of the U.S. for a tacky photo. And that was what he did. I mean, him and Piers Morgan and a whole host of others had this mentality that, pitchforks at Meghan for, going to Uvalde and people taking her photos, how tacky it is. So it was quite surprising, at least to some, I guess, that Dan Wooten would post this. And this, literally post a video of himself, and this is his tweet. I wanted to return to Buckingham Palace today for a quiet reflection and lay my own tribute, crowds young and old from all ethnicities and background. Truly the best British doing her justice. And he posted a video of himself laying flowers, and then he steps back and clasps his hand. All of this is in the video. And so when he posted that, Twitter went after him, and they're still going at him as we speak. He has been mocked mercilessly for that. And not only that, this guy, I think he's like a podcast or whatever, he tweeted back at Dan. He says, "Hi, Dan. I was beside you there today. Nothing says quiet reflection like doing 4 takes of that video, then directing your friend to make sure you get the shot of me praying after I lay the flowers and checking the video after each effort." And so it's been everybody has been piling on, which he totally deserves. Because, as India Willoughby says here, she was at the top referring back to that video he posted. He says, Dan, one of the woke finders of general of Britain's far-right media, has today traipsed down to Buck Palace to film himself being sad. Dan would normally call this virtue signaling. Yeah, that's one of Dan Wooten's big thing, calling it virtue signaling. And so needless to say, there's been memes and all kinds of stuff, as you can see on the right, mocking him to no end. And he was mocked so brutally yesterday. He finally deleted the video. But as you know, Twitter, nothing dies on Twitter and nothing is ever really erased. So including myself, I do have that video for necessary times I need to use it. And I have the photos for when I need to use it. And so, yes, he has been mocked mercilessly for his hypocrisy. And that's the thing that people have been calling out. His gross hypocrisy and attacking, especially Meghan, for anything she does, he's attacking. And yet this guy had the nerve to go and film himself. And just but it's been a beautiful thing to see. And he has been quiet, he's been quiet about anything around it because of it. I mean, the pylon was brutal. It was just like when Dan Wooten has to delete this, and this is a person that loves attention. Him and Piers Morgan, they live for this attention. And when he had to delete it, how brutal it was. So yes, he's still getting it today. So I say kudos. And then of course, Steve, what is his name? I always forget his name. Whatever. Steve, that Steve guy that does these you British squaddies could remind me, but I remember that part of his name, something Steve, that does these kind of art. And as you can see, the pitchfork ones, including Dan Wooten in the back there with their, ready to burn Harry and Meghan at the stake, and all the reporters behind them, including Angela Levin and all of them behind them. And it just... He is the one that did like the colonial thing when the Cambridges were in the Caribbean on that Shameless tour. He's the one that did that as well. But he does these kind of art. And the only thing I had with the issue is if you look at the top, it seems like all of his people that are in heaven are white people, including that man who with the wheelchair, the colonel. They did that, who did all that, raised all that money. And it's just like, where are the black people in heaven, Steve? It's just like all white people in the Queen. And I'm like, are you sure she's going there too? But hey, if that's what he thinks, that's fine. But but it's interesting. But that's how this is his form of journalism. He uses art like this to tell his stories, and so it's very, very interesting. So, and I just think this is probably sums up for me what all of this is about. This picture, Kevin Maguire is I think he's one of those royal reporters for the Mirror, and so I don't ever use his work at all, but this sums up exactly what this is. You have the Queen of England with all these riches and her crown and all of these things. And you have someone right next to her picture, homeless on the streets. And I just think this just sums up exactly what's happening right now. It is perfect. I mean, I saw that picture and I was like, yep, this is exactly what is. And it's just, yeah. But anyways, I'd love to hear what you guys are saying. I'm going to jump in the chat. Thank you for allowing me to go through all of this stuff, this content stuff. there's so much more. And again, I am like sorting through my brain. It was too much and I couldn't. And I was like, okay, this much I can do. Next time I'll tackle the other stuff and giving my brain a rest. But yeah, so hey, Lydia. Lydia's in the chat. Hey, Lydia, our awesome moderator is here. Let's see. Maria, hi Maria. Maria says Twitter scares me, so I haven't logged on to it in years. But it sounds like I might have to risk using my Twitter account again. I mean, Twitter has its, it has its good parts, it has its bad parts, and all of that stuff. But in cases like, for example, the hypocrisy, the gross hypocrisy, and just despicable behavior of, say, people like, Dan Wooten or Piers Morgan, it works in the sense that people can consolidate their information in one place and people could see the lies and hypocrisy in one place and go after them. So right now, him getting piled on is perfect. Twitter is doing what Twitter is meant to do in that situation because he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. And it's not like squatties, it's not like squatties are like the majority of squatties, I think, probably have blocked him. But it's people from a lot of it, reporters from the UK who cannot stand him and see his hypocrisy on the daily. And a lot of them are going after him. A lot of blue checks from the UK are the ones going after him and all of their people. So, for me, that it works in that way. I mean, of course, Twitter has its trolls and all of that stuff, who have been attacking Meghan and all of that stuff. So there's a good parts and bad parts. So come back. When you come on, you can follow me. I'll follow you, Maria. Raquel says, hi, Raquel, our awesome Tucson Screw member. Raquel said, Ray Raquel says, Petal, whatever helps them sleep at night, believing their fables. I think that's the thing. I don't think a lot of people want the reality of the royal family. And I think that's why they are so afraid of Harry's book. They're so afraid and really attacking Harry and Meghan in hopes that by attacking them, they would be silent, and that they would, Harry, a lot of the narrative now is that they're hoping that Harry wouldn't release his book because they're so desperate they don't want to deal with the reality of what the royal family is. They want to live, they want the fairy tale. They want that to be the fairy tale, no matter how much the royal family destroys especially the people within the royal institution, no matter how they destroy, people there. They're so desperate to hang on to this fantasy that they would, it's to the point where they will kill for this. We see what they're doing with Meghan. It's like the press is literally, they're either by inciting people or doing what they did to Caroline Flack, wanting her to commit suicide. That's what they're doing. That is literally what they're doing. All of it to hide what the royal family really is. They are so desperate to hold on to this one, because they make, especially with the press, to make money off of it. But two, with a lot of the British people, they are so desperate to hold on to this fantasy. I don't know why. I'm like, it's not like it's making your life any better. It's not like holding on to. It's like you're paying these people all these millions. And no, it's not just $102 million from the sovereign grant. It is much more than that. It's more like the 100 millions, because why? They never put in the actual cost for security. And that's just one thing they don't put in there. And so it's a lot more than, say, that, the 100. Well, this year the sovereign grant was 102 million, 2 million pounds. It's usually a whole lot more than that. So they would rather pay these people this money so they can have this fantasy than knowing the truth and have to maybe elect a head of state to run their country instead of having unelected officials with all this power and all. I mean, it's just like, it's ridiculous. I guess and again, for a lot of people, the royal family is a symbol of white supremacy. They are the top. They are, they are the beacon of white supremacy. And a lot of people can't let go of that, including some Americans. They want that. So the idea of that, the idea of that not being there is like, no. We cannot, get rid of this fantasy. And so it's unreal. They just literally don't want the truth. They don't. Hi, Salon. Salon says, I heard Harry will not be able to wear the mighty uniform since he isn't a working royal. Me, okay. And we talked about that a little bit earlier. Yeah. But it's like, well, neither is Andrew. So why exactly is he wearing it on the final one? And again, it's the stupidity. It's just, and you know what will happen? I'm sure I'm definitely going to be embracing my petty whenever whatever service Harry ends up going to, if he just goes to the final thing, if he goes to any others where the others are going to be wearing uniform, my entire Twitter feed is going to be about Harry in uniform. So it's like, I am going to embrace my petty. I know it's silly. But sometimes. But even today, a lot of people have been posting with Harry and military. But even there, their royalist press is calling out how stupid. I mean, this is like an own goal. Why? You already made stupid errors already. Why take an own goal? It's stupid. It's like friendly. I don't want to say friendly fire because again, military. But it's again, these people don't have common sense, honestly. Kathy Gabby, hi Kathy Gabby says the queen is gone, but the shenanigans continue. Coming from the palace, leaks. Of course, I mean, even while she was there, how much did the queen really have a say in all of the shenanigans that was going on? I doubt very much. They used her as proxy so they can claim that she was in charge when she really wasn't. So I mean, on. And it will keep going on because again, I say this all the time because it's, if you're not paying attention to the royal family, you're probably not even going to notice. But the thing with the royal family, why things are not going to change with them is that they don't hire people that will challenge them. They don't hire people that will push them. They don't hire people that would be like, oh, no, this is stupid. You don't do something like that because if for no other reason than optics, that's why we got that, shameless offensive tour with kids, black hands going through that fence. Somebody there could have said like, oh, no, please, don't, that optics. If only for optics. Somebody there would say, yeah, that's stupid because that's an own goal. Because what are you going to do? None of you have served in the military. You're wearing costume jewelry. You're wearing Halloween costume jewelry with chocolate medals. And then you're excluding someone that the world knows that served in the military. Heaven, he has Invictus Games where the world, revere these games. Leaders from around the world that come into these games, I'm like, you don't do something that stupid. But the thing is, they only hire people that say yes, especially Prince Charles. Prince Charles do not, I mean, you can ask anybody about Prince Charles. That's the one thing you know about Prince Charles if you know nothing else. Prince Charles will not hire someone who will say no to him. Every single one of his staff are yes people. And that's why you get all the cash for access, cash for honors, cash in a bag, cash in a briefcase, taking cash from the Bin Laden family. That's the reason. He will never hire someone who will say no to him. And so that's why you get stupid stuff like this happening all the time. And I dare say William is most likely the same. The difference is Harry and Meghan have people around them that will challenge them. Meghan is like that. Meghan and Harry, even in, they've talked about, that, and we've seen Meghan. Meghan speaks her mind. And that's one of the reasons a lot of one of the friction there at the royal family. Meghan will say what she thinks. And that is not always going to go along with, say, what Harry or anybody else wants. But I think Harry's used to that, and that's why he's growing as a person. And that's the reason the royal family are not growing. They're in the same place and going down because they do not hire people that will challenge them. And especially Prince Charles. It's the one thing people always talk about with Prince Charles. He never hires someone who challenges him, who say no to him. Let's see. Athena's celebrating Dan Wooten's being dragged. He deserved all the dragging. Death Maps agree with that. Yeah, much deserved dragging. And again, not even from squatties, from his own people in the UK who are just sick and tired of Dan Wooten. And I would never understand why people believe anything. I mean, the guy is so phony. We remember him in the squad when he was like those Sussex squads with him and that Markle guy, going after Baron. Just ridiculous. Let's see. I am scrolling up. Lorna Williams. Hi, Lorna. Lorna says, Holiness is looking for honors. They also spent millions trying to get Jamaicans as a secretary of the Commonwealth after that disaster tour. I trust the Jamaican people, but not their politicians. Yeah, I remember that. They were trying to get the Jamaican lady to replace the current one, who I was hoping she replaced her, but she's still there. And again, I don't understand. And so many people are asking the same question. What's the purpose of the Commonwealth? I mean, for me, that's just, the British Empire renamed Commonwealth. I don't see the purpose of the Commonwealth. And I'm glad more and more people are asking this question. What benefit is the Commonwealth to the people of the Commonwealth? I don't see what it is. Maybe the leaders get benefit out of that. I don't see it. And I'm glad more and more people. But again, yeah, Andrew Holness, at least until the Queen died, was a member of her Privy Council. I don't know if that Privy Council shifts over to Charles. I don't know if, since now she has passed on, if that's mute now. I don't know. But there is still that string that was never cut, So, yeah, very interesting. I wouldn't doubt with the honors thing. Again, people with those honors. Catherine says, Joan, I'm cutting out the red tape. Harry and Meghan, grab your bags, get on Air Force One back home. I'm telling you, I was like, I would love to see that. Them like, okay, press, can I get a ride on Air Force One and get back to the US? I wouldn't blame them. I wouldn't stay there. So yeah. Unreal. Jenny A says the overwhelming sentiment in Jamaica is to get rid of them. Reparation conversations are now back on the table, even a breakdown of what each person is owed. This is so good. This is good to know. So this at least, gives me hope. This is good. I'm glad this is really. But again, my thing has always been the leaders, man. I don't trust those leaders. And a lot of things, I think, with the leaders and stuff like this is because they are taken care of. The leaders of these countries, they are taken care of. They have the money, they have the power in the country, whatever. They're not in the dire situation that the regular everyday person is in. So they're not as, on fire to get things done, especially something like this, as somebody who is literally suffering and who needs money and who needs a better life, And so I just... even this 12 days or more, maybe I just think of it differently and other people might be fine with it, and that's fine. I just was like, you're asking people to mourn who are just like, dude, we are trying to cut ties here. I don't understand it. So, Jakku says, how lucky that a photographer, videographer happened to be everywhere that Chuck or Baldy are found. Let's start there. Hello. Exactly. It's just unreal. It's like these people have no mirrors. They don't look at themselves. They see what other people are doing and they don't look at themselves because they're doing the exact same thing. But oh yeah, let's attack Harry and Meghan for doing it while they're literally doing it the same exact thing. It's unreal. Let's see. It makes no sense, Janet. It's I'm totally here. It makes no sense. I totally agree. Carmen. Hi, let's get Carmen. So yeah, hi Carmen Bennett. How are you? Carmen's in you in Jamaica. Oh, okay. She went home to Jamaica recently. A poll was taken asking whether or not the Queen should be removed as head of state, and there were those who want her to remain. So, am I shocked? No, I am not shocked to hear this at all. It's sad. It absolutely is sad, and I think again, it's just like there are some people that they like the fairy tale. They want it. It's something that a lot of them. I mean, the majority, I'm sure, grew up. I mean, the Queen has been head of state for how long? You know, most of their lives, or or all of their lives, and it's like they want that string attached, and so I'm not surprised at all. It's very sad to hear this, Carmen, but I hope the majority said no. Joan is asking Catherine why, if Harry and Meghan need to go home, they can go to the American consulate. They are there to take care of your citizens. Okay. Thank you, Joan. Not that Harry and Meghan need any help. I'm sure they can, get a flight home. They don't need any help. Jenny 8 says Jamaica is carrying on same, no mourning for us. Okay. So I guess the, time of mourning, I guess regular folks on the street are like not mourning. So, and again, it's like if you want to mourn, but why do this national day? It's like, okay. And especially have to do it. And I think the thing again is it's kind of sending double message, because you went through this whole thing with, laying out what you're going to do and basically kicking William and Kate to the curb when they were there. And then you now spin it around where it's like, oh, but let's call it 12th day of mourning. And it's just like, what? Where's your bravado that you had when you were demanding reparations and an apology? Where is that? So anyways, again, is that deference for the Queen? So, Maria, here you are. The mandate for the world leaders to use regular planes to get to the UK and then use public buses once they show the King Chuck early dementia has gone back to a time to the UK imperial days. I mean, honestly, I just think somebody is pulling somebody's legs with that, because I'm like, I couldn't come up with a more stupid plan again. April Fools in September. I just can't believe that's. I mean, I cannot believe anybody would be that stupid to send out that. I just I have to believe that is a prank. Let's see. Crazy Trekker. Hi, Crazy Trekker. I don't think I've said hi to you in here before, so welcome. Crazy Trekker says, I would only welcome the 12 days if it became public holidays, meaning no work, watch Netflix, etc. Now you have the... I can see that, Crazy Trekker. I would absolutely see that. Like, okay, as long as you're paying me for the 12 days and I can stay home and watch Netflix, sure. Great point. Absolutely great point. Let's see. Scrolling up. Oh, Jenny H again saying that they're not mourning, only policymakers maybe. Yeah. Good to know. Thank you, Jelly. Thank you, Jenny. Wait, Church Nelly was here and left? Oh man, I didn't even see Church Nelly. Oh, well, bye, Church Nelly. I didn't realize. I'll see you next time. That's what happens. I'm like scrolling up and I didn't realize she's like, oh, Church Nelly, if you don't know, is our awesome moderator. And also Julia Rock. Julia Rock is our awesome moderator, saying goodbye to Church Nelly. Thank you, guys. Let's see, scrolling up. I love this. Jackie's like, really, Bella? Jamaica? They're gone mad? Cha! I would say there's a little madness there. Absolutely, Jackie. I would absolutely say that. Athena says, well, the new king's rating just went down by these world leaders. This is when I'd be like, dude, I'll just watch I talk about Netflix. I'll just watch this on television. I mean, that again, April Fools in September. Let's see. Nafisa says, and he should ask the president to expedite his citizenship while on Air Force One. Hey, if he doesn't already have it, absolutely. I don't blame him. Absolutely. Where he never has to go back there if he doesn't want to. I'm telling you, we'll just embrace our Harry right here. So, but anyways, Joy says, I heard they're rethinking the bus thing. I'm like, what is there to think about? Why would you even think that in the first place? Just like, oh my God. The fact that that even became public is so embarrassing. If I was a person, I would be so embarrassed that that became public. It's just unreal. Let's see. Cookies and Cream says, I guess Charles is not alienating the Commonwealth. Is not only alienating the Commonwealth, he's alienating the military community as well. I mean, how? Yeah, like, do you not see the relationship Harry has with the military community and even Meghan? Do you not have you not been paying attention? So when you do that to Harry, what do you think you're doing to his mates in the military? They all honor Harry. And it's just like, again, common sense. There's no common sense in that family. There's none. Angela Simmons says, watch Sharon Spade's podcast. It was really good. She talked about Meghan's I would assume episode 3 podcast or episode 3. Whichever one. I totally watch all 3. They're amazing. So thank you, Angela. Everyone, if you haven't seen Sharon Sade, Sharon Sade or Sharon Sade, I don't know how she says it. But if you haven't, definitely check her out. I haven't, so I will check her out. Thank you so much, Angela, for promoting a Squatty podcast. So thank you. Let's see. What the word that I said I wouldn't say? Get on a bus himself. He can't even be civil to his staff. Oh, of course he's not going to get on a bus. Of course he's going to take a private jet to wherever he needs to go and take a helicopter. Of course. I mean, the stupidity of that, again, it just own goals to look stupid. It's unreal. Let's see. Kathy Gabby says the mourning period is for the UK. Let's be real. Not sure what you mean, but yes, the UK is definitely going in. That is just a very long. I mean, I guess that's normal. I hadn't paid attention to people's mourning periods before. So, do we even do mourning periods in the UK, in the US? Like, I don't recall there being like a national day of, other than, we do the memorials for, like, say, for example, 9/11 that was just passed, but have I just not paid attention? Have we ever done something like that, like a national week or 10 days of mourning? I don't recall that ever being here, at least not while I've been here. So that's just weird. It's just wild to me. But every country is different. England is a small island, or a small country. So there you go. Marjo says not like they're doing in Great Britain. Okay, yeah, because I don't recall us doing stuff like that. I mean, people are free to do their thing, but it's just odd to me. Joyce is like, yeah, let's put the world leaders on a bus and some crazy crazy blow up the bus. Go figure. I mean, again, April Fool's in September. So let's see. Julie Rock says, hi, Julie Rock, our awesome moderator. Julie Rock says, it was a direct hit at Harry. Therefore, military and service people, I hope the people revolt. And the thing that's happening now is, if you guys, I don't know how much of you are on Twitter. I know I follow some of you on Twitter. But what's happening right now in the last couple of days, they are literally arresting people who are protesting against the Queen. They arrest this man who in Scotland, was it yesterday or today? He was screaming. I guess they were doing some kind of procession with the members of the royal family who remained at Balmoral, or at least remained in Scotland. And so there was like a crowd and of people while they're doing their procession with the members of the royal family, and someone was screaming out stuff at Prince Andrew. They literally arrest the person. They arrest someone I think in England, who had a sign, protesting the Queen. They arrested them. And so this is something that's going on now, that people are getting arrested if they protest against the Queen, if they protest against King Charles, and, if they protest against the rest of the royal family. It's ridiculous. I'm like, is this like North Korea? England is becoming North Korea. You are literally getting arrested if you protest. And so I'm like, to those right-wing people who are like, this is their thing, but then they want to scream, oh, I'm in free speech. I'm like, all about free speech. Why aren't they speaking up? Because now people are literally getting arrested for exercising free speech. It's unreal. Julia says, he screamed, Andrew, you sick old man. Yeah. And if you saw the cops, people were pushing him, and I think it looks like cops threw him down and, got him away from there, and they arrested him. And it's just like, that's what's happening. And it's just like, wait a minute. What this is, and I'm assuming as this quote unquote mourning period proceed and people start getting irritated, I would assume there's going to start getting pushback on that, because you're arresting people for protesting the monarchy or protesting the new monarch. And it's just like, hello, this is supposed to be a democracy. This is supposed to be a free speech, so I would assume that people will start pushing back. So at least I hope. Anyways, Reba says, yes, Harry is the only royal qualified to wear his military uniform. Reba, intelligent people know this. It seems that kind of intelligence it's not in the royal family. So everyone else and their mother can see this except the royal family for some reason. Unreal. Amazing to me. Lydia says, hi, Lydia. Lydia, awesome moderator, says, my thoughts on the uniform is that they should either allow Prince Harry to wear the uniform if he wants, or follow the Queen's lead. How she had all of them wear morning suits at Philip's funeral. You would think, again, Lydia, this is common sense. But again, common sense does not reside in the royal family. I think they all just are so about wearing uniforms that they should not be wearing. They are all about the look. They want to feel like they are these, at least they want to come across as these strong military, leaders or whatever, when they don't deserve it. The people who should be wearing uniforms are one who fought and actually literally went and sacrificed their lives in whatever form. None of the royal family other than Harry should be wearing that uniform. And technically, yes, whatever you think of Prince Andrew, he at least fought in a war. So those are the only two technically should be wearing. Really should just be Harry. Why are William, Charles, especially Edward and Princess Anne, why are they in uniform? Why are they? And who the other ones that are in uniform? What have they done in the military? And so it's unreal to me, the ridiculousness. And again, as Meghan always talks about, it's perception. It is perception. It's how things look as opposed to how they are. And yes, it's ridiculous. Halloween costume with chocolate medals. That's all it is. And so I don't know how that honors anybody. I don't know. I mean, I was like, you look at that, I was like, this is stupid. How is that honoring anybody? It's amazing. Miss Wise says, I wish Harry just wear his uniform. What can they do? You know, it's so funny, Miss Wise. You and I were thinking the same. I'm like, but I was thinking Harry should go in one of his, he has the camouflage. And I would love Harry to walk in there in just his camouflage. Oh, that would be, everybody would be looking at Harry. I'm like, I could totally see him going in there in that uniform. That's what I was thinking, as opposed to the red and black uniform that they talk about. I think Harry should just go in those fatigues. I mean, I would love it, Harry is so respectful, and he wouldn't want to cause, any kind of thing. He wouldn't want to take any kind of attention away from his grandmother. So he is not like, I would be that vindictive to do that, or have like my favorite designer make some like fly black outfit, like he just walked off a runway somewhere. Him and Meghan walk in there like, ooh, and Harry wearing a beret and everything. I just had images of that. But again, Harry is not me. He is not a petty person. I am a petty person, and I would have fully embraced, if I was going to do it, fully embrace every aspect of my pettiness. And, because that whole thing with that uniform is like, they want attention. They want people to look at them. Oh, look at those military. And it's just like, no. Khadija says they're taking a page from Russia. Well, they are. They have Russian, their royals that were in Russia, I guess, I think they're relatives. So that would stand to reason. So, Lydia says, if he did, they would claim it was Prince William's idea and Prince Charles co-signed it. Of course. I just wish, and again, Harry and Meghan are so great. They're not petty. And with all the nonsense, I would just like, anytime they would lie, I would just correct it right away. Be like, no, that's not the truth. No, that's not the truth. No, that's not the truth. But yeah, it's unreal. Let's see a few more before we end. Thank you. Oh my gosh. 561 of my favorite people are hanging out. Thank you, guys. I am so happy that you're here. Cookies and Cream, how are you? I don't know that I said hello to you today, our awesome moderator, Cookies and Cream. She says, Charles can laugh now, but he can certainly cry later. Being the so-called leader of the head of the Church of England, he needs to remember the scripture. The last will be first and the first will be last. You know something? I actually tweeted about that a couple of days ago because it dawned on me that now Charles and Queen Camilla are now the head of the Church of England. And so my thing was that I was laughing about it because it had dawned on me that was the case. And because especially that, neither of them hold on to, the Bible or anything like that, but they are now at least Charles, the head of the Church of England. So some of my wonderful squaddies reminded me that the Church of England was started by someone who wanted, who was having an affair or something, and he didn't want to follow, I guess, the old ways. And then he started the Church of England. So then Charles and Camilla, the perfect people to head the Church of England. And I was like, oh, well, there you go. I was like, oh, I didn't know all that. Because it's unreal. So I guess the perfect people, not that, do they read the scriptures? Probably not. I don't know. I mean, Charles is a vicious reader. So, hey, maybe he does. Maybe he does follows it and knows what it says. But it's just interesting, how him and the person who started the Church of England had the same, kind of the same history. So there you go. Prince Charles, now you're head of the Church of England. So it's unreal. Only in the UK, only in the royal family. So Joy says, Prince Philip did not want a state funeral. Smart man, only 14 days mourning thing is over. All this 14-day mourning thing is overkill. It totally is overkill. It is totally overkill. I remember when they were going through the Prince Philip thing, and after a day or so, people were like screaming at the BBC because they had all day coverage, and they're like, no, we don't want that, so it just, they do the overkill. It's all, and that's the thing that when I see with this whole thing, it's a spectacle. It stops becoming about, remembering the queen and remembering, well, I was gonna say remembering her what she's done, her service, but I remember that there really isn't much service there, so I guess there's not much of that to remember. But it starts becoming about her and whatever it is she's done, and it just becomes a spectacle. And that's the thing that I am seeing, even with all the people, coming and bringing flowers and the teddy bears and all the Paddington thing and all. It stops becoming about her and whatever it is she's done and what she means to them, and it just becomes a spectacle. And I'm realizing more and more and more that is what the UK is about. They are all about the spectacle. Whether it's a marriage, the marriage, whether it's the Jubilee, now whether it's funerals, whatever, the main thing for the UK is a spectacle. It becomes a spectacle thing that it's completely devoid of what it's supposed to be about. And I remember Meghan even describing her wedding as a spectacle. That's why she and Harry had their own private thing a few days earlier, because they knew their wedding became a spectacle. It's just this thing. And more and more, that's what this whole thing, it becomes all of these laws and all of these traditional things and all of these, going to these places and proclaiming this, and it's just, why? it has no, meaning. It's just become this thing you do to, it's unreal. You couldn't tell the difference between, say, the Jubilee and this, or a wedding. It's just, it all seemed to just be one big spectacle. Let's see. Cynthia Steer. Hi, Cynthia. Cynthia says, Puddle, Harry cannot wear the uniform that he wore in the military. What the royal family took away from him is his oh wait, no, I think I read that wrong. Harry cannot wear the uniform he wore in the military. Okay. What the royal family took away from him is a ceremonial uniform. That's what they are not allowed, and that's what they're not allowing him to wear. Oh, so wait, you said he cannot wear the uniform he wore in the military. So was that wrong? It means he can wear the uniform he wore in the military and not the ceremonial dress? So if he can wear his military uniform, I would say go be petty and wear that. Why not? So, and again, who could stop him if he shows up in his military gear? What are they going to say? You can't come? So, but again, Harry wouldn't want to distract, because that's what all the press is going to be zoomed right in on him, and forget about the Queen, which a lot of it they've already forgotten about her anyway. It's just kind of like the Jubilee. The Jubilee was supposed to be about her, and it became everything else but her, including Charles and Camilla. And then this is supposed to be, her funeral stuff, and now it's, becoming everything other than Queen Betty. So, let's see. Black Queen says, Lydia W. Lady Washington, Harry should wear it. He have a right to and can take the other stuff, but they have no right to take his uniform. There you go. Black Queen has stated her case. And I totally agree with you, Black Queen. I totally agree with you. You should wear it if he wants to. But, again, we petty, Harry isn't. Or maybe Harry could have a little petty streak. I wouldn't blame him. I honestly wouldn't blame him. So Joan says, hi Joan. Joan says there's a lot of jealousy around Harry's military career. A lot. I would think, especially the other royal. I would think the other incandescent royal. I think there is that, as we remember that I can't put my hand around my brother anymore, and the other royal in military uniform, the absolute audacity, and then they have Harry in civilian clothes. I mean, he wants Harry's record. It's unreal. Um, oh my goodness, we had 800 people here today, and I wasn't paying attention. Wow, thank you guys so much. Please, as Lydia reminds all of us, please subscribe. If you haven't already, hit the subscription button, click the notification bell so that you know when we drop a video, and please like and share this video, since there were, quite a few have departed so far, but there's 565 of us here. So click that notification bell, and click the like button, and please share our video. Please share it with your friends and whomever. Share it. Do the little clippy thing on the scissor thing, and clip a portion of the video and share that. It'll link right back to this video. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Wow, I missed that one. Shoot. So I'm so paying attention to the chat that I wasn't looking up to see how many was there. So thank you so much, Lydia. Let's see. Reba, hi Reba. Reba says the royal family will give one insult too many, and they will never see Harry again. H&M are honoring QE2. The rest are on a short leash right now. Royal family firm and UK media have no idea what's coming, and that is correct. And that is why they're all freaking out and want Harry's book to go away. So yeah, they are talk about poking a bear, not beer. This is my Caribbean accent coming out. Poking a bear, Yes, they are definitely doing that. So I'm telling you, there's so much so far you can push a person, and then they're like, no, so they are definitely doing that. Phyllis Johnson. Hi, Phyllis. Phyllis says, Charles is the head of the Church of England, a cheater and his mistress. Doesn't the Catholic Church have enough problems? Well, they're not Catholic, actually. They're Protestant. This is the Church of England, so it's different. And so actually, I think I read it's the book, And What Do You Do? It talks about a Catholic person could never be the head of, could never be the monarch. I think there's a thing there between Catholic and Protestant, and so no, the Church of England is not Catholic. So, but I'm sure the Church of England have problems, because especially those pedo problems they've had in the past. So yes, including the Queen being the head of church and has her son in that way as well. So yes. Let's see. Julia says, great point. Never on point with facts. Just a spectacle. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It definitely feels like just a spectacle. Reba says the UK has always used the spectacle to hide their atrocities in the background. Hello. I would not doubt that at all. I mean, just look at the Jubilee. This Jubilee that was supposed to, bring in all this money, that was supposed to do all this stuff. And now you have people are struggling, cost of living. And again, why are taxpayers paying for the Queen's funeral? I just found that out. Why are taxpayers paying for the Queen's funeral? And also, if that is not a kick in the face enough, apparently they are canceling funerals that are happening on the same day as, I think, the Queen's funeral. And I was like, what? I hope that is not true. But I saw that on Twitter, and I was like, and again, I didn't get a chance to go look it up and really research it. But I was like, I hope that is not true. So anyways, yes. Oh, Pilly, thank you so much for your super. Wait, did I see this earlier? But thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate your support. Thank you. Thank you, Lydia. Lydia, again, encourage and inspiring us to like and share and subscribe and join our channel. Thank you. So let's get a couple more people. Let's see. Rory B. Hi, Rory. Rory says they're trying hard to hurt and wound Harry by denying him his ceremonial military attire. Invictus is tied to his military service, and it's very successful. Harry and Meghan equal success. And you would think, if you're a wise person, Invictus is, one, it originated out of the UK. You would think you would embrace it. You would think you would, but I think there is this thing within this family to embarrass people. And it's kind of like, that I don't know who said it. I don't know if it's Maya Angelou. I don't know if it's Toni Morrison who says, if you're only powerful when somebody is on their knees, then you have a problem, or something like that. It goes, and I know I didn't say that verbatim, but that's the thing. It's like they're only powerful when people are on their knees. And if someone, they don't feel powerful, or they don't consider themselves powerful if they're at the same level with someone. So in order for them to be power over Harry and Meghan, is that they have to humiliate them. They have to wound them. They have to, in the eyes of people, make them feel less so that they can feel powerful. And it's like, dude, you're not powerful at all. Prince Charles should just look at this past weekend to understand where he sits in the relevance poll. Prince Charles just literally declared king. He's now King Charles. And you would think that with King Charles and Queen Camilla, they would occupy the front pages of even their own tabloids that they are colluding with. And if you look at the front pages in the past, because, they post them on Twitter, if you look at the front pages of these, especially their tabloids and their, glorified tabloids, what was prominent on what was on all of their front pages? Harry and Meghan and the other royals. That's what was on the front pages, with most of the stories about Harry and Meghan. And so that should give King Charles a clue as to his relevance. And so for him, I guess the only way he can feel like he is powerful is by doing stupid stuff like this. But it's like, do you understand, in the world's eye, that just makes you look stupid? It makes you look small, because nobody respects a person who's just vindictive and evil and vile. Nobody respects that. Yeah, I'm sure it may make you feel like you're powerful, but it doesn't. Nobody respects that. And so it's unreal. It's just this warped thinking with, especially that class. And that's the thing that needs to go in the UK. If they have to be, not that there isn't that, again, class stuff in the US, but a different level. It's a different form of it. But in that situation with their royals, where it's kind of like, the class is like who sits on the front row, and in your second class, if you sit on the second row, and your third class, and it's just like, do you realize how stupid that is? Do you really realize how stupid it is to have that be yours, where your self-worth is based on? And so that's how their self-worth is. It's unreal. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Angela. I appreciate. Thank you. Let's see. I am an Android, but this pure 68-year-old is not tech savvy. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm not sure what you mean. But you're on here, so you're savvy enough to be on here, Prudence. That's good. Let's see. Julia says, visit Aphrodite on YouTube. He did a tarot reading for Charles. It was amazing. He says a secret will be revealed. Okay, I don't believe in stuff like that, but that's interesting. When is there not a secret to be revealed with Prince Charles? I feel like that's been his whole life. They're all skeletons in his closet that's been revealing for especially the last year or so. There's always a secret there. So, especially with the royal family, there are always secrets. That's why they're being blackmailed by the press all the time. They can't speak out against things because they're always blackmailed by the press. So, yeah. Michael Miller. Hello, Michael Miller. How are you? Michael says, "Pedal as much money as the taxpayers pay to keep the monarchy going, they can afford to pay for Elizabeth's funeral and Chuck's coronation." That's exactly, Michael. Exactly. I mean, not even say, the money that they get from the sovereign grant, but the royal family, they are billionaires. The queen is one of the richest people in the world. I mean, the women have tax shelters. Hello, Jersey, Guernsey, that they profit from. There is no reason that any taxpayer in the UK should be paying for this woman's funeral. They shouldn't be paying. There should not be the sovereign grant. I mean, there should not be any tax money going to the royal family to begin with. This whole thing is nonsense. And the sad part about it is, like, you have a nation of 50 million people, whatever, should be rising up to protest and demand their changes, and people just are pathetic. It's like, well, okay, I mean, that again, I guess they're paying for the fantasy. They don't want to change it because they want the fantasy. They want to believe that their royal family is all that. They want to believe, in the delusion that I guess a lot of people don't realize they're not even a superpower anymore. But they want to believe, it's like this delusion that they want to believe, this delusion of grandeur of the royal family that they're so desperate to hold on to, that they would rather pay hundreds of millions of dollars to people who sit there and wave, who even the very notion of the fact that they, supposed to be doing, charity events and whatever that benefits none of the charities. They'd rather them do that and hold on to this white supremacist institution than look at it for what it is, tear it down, and elect leaders to lead them. They rather pay the money. And so what are you going to do? We're on the outside. I'm not in the UK. So it's like, we who see it. And you're like, well, why? I don't understand. They grew up believing that they have to have a monarchy. It's just unreal. Absolutely unreal. Hi, Mashar. Mashar says the Church of England was created by a cheater. Yep. Who wanted to get rid of his wife to marry his mistress. King Henry the Eighth created the Church of England. There you go. Oh, did they also said that he killed a couple of his wives or something? Is that the truth? Because when I asked this question, someone said that he killed, I think, one or two of his wives. And I was like, oh, that was just like, I didn't know any of that. I mean, when I even posted it, I wasn't expecting all that information. I was like, oh, who knew? So I guess, hey, cheater, and, hey, I guess perfect person leading that church. Unbelievable. Miss White Senior says, hi, Miss White Senior. She says, I think that Harry was in the army, and all the branches of the service have dress uniforms. Harry can wear his army dress uniform. Oh, okay. Will he do it? Again, Harry may not want to draw attention, which, I mean, he'll get it no matter what. But, again, he's not as petty as I am. I would do it. He may not. So how I wish more people were petty. Maybe it's just misery, like, that Misery Love Company. Not that being petty is misery by any, but you always want to, if you're petty, you want to know other people are petty at things too. So, if you don't feel too horrible about it. So, let's see. Let's scroll down for a couple more. I keep saying a couple more because probably I just don't want to get off. I haven't really, communicated with you guys in so long. I just kind of want to stay here for a bit. Let's see. Yeah. This is I was just like, if embalmed properly, it can maintain for up to 6 weeks. Okay, I don't even want to know. I'm assuming they're talking about Queen Betty. Okay. Rory says, Marion Wilson poem says, our deepest fear, with Nelson Mandela used to as part of his inaugural address. I think that's the one you're referring to. Oh, okay. You mean the one where if you're kneeling, if you're only powerful when someone is kneeling or bowing or something, then you have a problem. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. So, yeah, interesting. Oh, wait, this. Oh, actually, sorry. Prudence says, did anyone see the interview with Gail and Oprah? Yeah, we talked about this earlier with the that bombshell. Yes, we talked a little bit about that earlier with Gail and Oprah. Geron's, hi, Geron Bauman. How are you? Geron says, William showed Kate no interest. He was practically running from her. Yeah, it's wild with their relationship. It's, and again, I'm not, none of us are in their relationship, so we don't know. Some people say he doesn't live in Windsor and it's her house in Windsor. Who knows? It'll be very interesting in the coming weeks to see, are they going to be moving into, Windsor Castle, or are they going to stay in their supposed little cottage of Adelaide? So who knows? But yeah, they just have a very distant looking relationship, and I'm going to say looking because again, we don't know what goes on in there, when they're in private. So that's what it seems like. It doesn't seem like there's much of a connection there, but again, who knows? And like Oprah says, she stay out of people's relationships. I think I'll do the same. So yeah. Athena, hi Athena Dugan. Hi, Athena says, I think Charles wants to scare the other royals by using Harry as an example of what he can do to them if they get out of line. Very true. They also do that. Also, you know what I realized I didn't see on the line of succession is Prince Edward's Duke of Edinburgh title. So maybe that can only be passed down after the coronation. Could be, but Edward is like, I know he was campaigning for that Duke of Edinburgh title, and Charles was like, I don't know, maybe you need to beg some more, unreal. Let's see. Okay, Makangaza says, so hi squaddies, Harry needs nothing from anyone in that British royal family. He and his wife love and give love. They're looking for nothing from the British royal family but a space to respectfully bury their grandmother. And that is so true. That is so true. They really don't need anything from them. They have a life. They have their life, away from that. They're successful at what they're doing. People are seeing more and more about who they are and what they're about and are appreciating it. People are seeing just calling out the horrible behavior of the British press more and more and more. It's really amazing seeing more and more black blue checks calling out the press, and they have a lot of followers, so more and more people with larger platforms are calling out the press for what they're doing to them. So yeah, and you're right. They really, really, really do not need anything from the royal family. So thank you so much. Just before we head out, just to let you know, when I pulled this in, it was 39,000. Now we are at 40,000 for the fundraiser, for the Sentibali fundraiser for Harry's birthday, which will be in 3 days. It's the 12th, so on the 15th, it's going to be Harry's birthday, and it's sad that he has to celebrate his birthday at this time, and but it's going to be what is he going to do, right? So I'm just hoping whatever he does is something that'll be encouraging. I'm sure Meghan will make, and his friends and those who he makes his family are going to make sure that he has a good day. So definitely thank you all so much who have donated and who are going to donate. If you still want to, the link is in the show notes. So definitely go ahead and take care of that if you'd like to. But thank you guys so much. Thank you to our incredible moderators, Lydia, Trish, Nelly, who had to depart, Karen M, Julie Rock, and Cookies and Cream. Thank you guys so much for keeping our chat safe and wonderful and just an incredible safe place. Thank you so much to our 2 Cents crew, our amazing 2 Cents crew who supports our channel monthly. thank you so much for your help, your donations. I mean, thank you, thank you, thank you for everything. And also for our Gold Star supporters, those of you who support us, whether it's, super chat, super stickers. I still have more to add in from PayPal, Cash App, all the ways, and from merchandise. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of you who have ever supported us. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. And also I'm trying to find a different name from Gold Star supporters because I don't like that name, but it's the only one I could come up with. So if you have a name and can share with me, that would be really awesome. So we can change that name. But right now, you're the Gold Star supporters. So I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys so much. I'll be back tomorrow. Lord willing, he keeps us all safe and alive. I know there's going to be a lot more stuff coming up with the Sussexes in the days to come. So I know we'll have a lot more, and I am promising that I will not get overloaded again as I did the last few days. I will make sure and protect my mind and my peace. And so I will make sure and really hope that for every one of you as well, please protect your mind, please protect your peace. Don't get to a place where you're overloaded with information as I am. So thank you so much, guys. I love you all, and I will see you next time. Bye.